Hello, I'm Cathy Petersen, a volunteer with the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. You are watching Business Connection, a program produced by the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is committed to finding business solutions by collaborating with regional business leaders on key issues. We have another exciting program for you today. We'll be talking about Leadership Dayton, and our guests today are Kevin Robie, who's Vice President of Soin International. We have Dennis Percy, Director of Major Gifts for the United Way of Greater Dayton. And we have Susan Hayes, the Board Chair of Leadership Dayton. All of you, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. You hear so much about Leadership Dayton, and it's all good. It is the fourth oldest leadership program in the country, founded in 1976. Now, Kevin, I'm going to start with you. What is the mission of this program? And what's the criteria used to select participants?
Okay, I think the mission is all about identifying and educating and motivating a network of community leaders, for one. Number two, I think increasing the individual's ability to serve the Dayton region. And then third, to advocate continuous engagement in the region and building leaders for future endeavors within the region. To answer your second part of the question, what are some of the selection criteria? We're looking for participants that are selected based on a variety of criteria, including the applicant's leadership potential and demonstrated commitment to the community. And there's really about 5 different categories that we really look for in participants. One, their platform for influence. What is the base of where they've come from in their organization? What is the potential for influencing in their background of leadership? Current community involvement. What is their background? What have they done in the community to, as far as involvement with leadership? Leadership experience. What past leadership roles have they had? Motivation to participate. Participation in Leadership Dayton is all about internal motivation and being involved. So we're looking for participants to be involved in the leadership organization. And then finally, there is an interview. There is a one-on numerous interview because, and that's not really to scare folks. It's just that what we're looking for is folks being able to verbally communicate their desire to be in Leadership Dayton. So,
now this is an 11-month program, correct?
Correct.
And what does it consist of? You know, what are the participants doing in that period of time, and you know, what areas does the program touch when they're in it?
Well, the participants, there's actually 4 different areas. There's an opening retreat, which is fantastic. Our opening retreat, it's off-site or out of the area, and it's in. Ours was at the Miami University, and now it's at Deer Creek
State Park.
And so we get the participants out of the area, and we have an opening retreat. And there's a variety of networking and team building skills during that 2-day session. Then there is a series of 9 1-month. So then there's 9 months, and each one of those months is a different. We take a different aspect of the community. For example, Dayton Heritage at the Carillon Park. There's a whole bunch of history at Carillon Park. Well, we'll spend a day learning about Dayton Heritage. Education, cultural arts, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is a wonderful day-long experience where you're immersed in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We have a session on healthcare, diversity, human services. We're at the Job Center for Human Services. Criminal justice, we get to ride along with the Dayton police for a time and then come back and share that experience with the group. And then finally, economic development and Dayton's future. Where are we going from there? And then there's a closing retreat where you kind of bring everything together at the end, and then there's a graduation ceremony.
Which is, I'm sure, so exciting and emotional, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, very, very much so.
Yeah. Now, how many people have graduated from the program since its inception in 1976?
Well, there are over 1,200 folks in the region that have graduated from Leadership Dayton, of which 800 are still locally in the region. So it gives an opportunity for those 800 to collaborate with other classes and share experiences throughout the year. We normally we select anywhere from 40 to 45. Our class was 2011, and there were 43 in our class. And so meeting a group of 42 other folks, I can't express how gratifying it is, because when I got there, I thought I knew everything about Dayton. I thought I knew everybody in Dayton, practically, and these are 42 new friends that you meet. And then finally, where do they come from? A number of the counties in the region: Preble, Warren, Montgomery County, Greene, and Miami counties, just to name a few. So.
Why is Leadership Dayton so important to the business community?
Well, to me, it builds a resource for community leaders. First of all, Leadership Dayton is not Leadership 101. These are leaders that are already in their organizations that have demonstrated leadership capabilities. Second, it gives the group an opportunity to work on a community project. So each class will work on a community project to give back to the community. And then third, it develops a network of talented leaders that the community can call upon for anything down the road.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah.
Now, for someone to participate, they have to have a sponsor organization, is that correct?
Correct.
What are some of those organizations?
Well, some of the organizations can be nonprofit related. I think we had a number of legal lawyers in our class. We had bankers in our class, for-profit and nonprofit. It's all part of the diversity that Leadership Dayton tries to bring.
And these organizations, they gain from it too. What are some of the things
And they do. Sponsoring organizations would gain exposure to the community through their employee. It builds leadership in the employee, and so they come back to the organization and give that experience throughout the organization. And then finally, the organization commitment. There is a commitment on the organization standpoint or part to contribute to the community, and they do that by providing an employee for the 11-month program.
So if I am participating in Leadership Dayton, what do I get out of it? I mean, you've talked a lot about the benefits, but
well,
personally.
first of all that comes to mind is in-depth knowledge about the community. As I said before, I've been here for 30+ years, and I thought that I knew a lot about Dayton. So you learn a great deal about the Dayton community and the Dayton region. Another thing is it expands your professional horizons. You get to understand what Dennis's experiences are in his career. I get to understand what makes other folks tick, and so you share some of those experiences and you grow as an individual. And then finally, you're energized. I mean, when you're done with the 11-month program, you are so energized to contribute to the community and get involved. So,
and each class has a community project. Now, Dennis, what was your community project?
Our class, the Leadership Dayton class of 2009, we actually did a organized drive for the food bank. both financial and also with food through the different organizations that we worked with. And that was a great experience working with our class to first of all decide out of the different choices we came up with what was a suitable project, and then one that we could execute, but also having leaders amongst our midst, because you're talking about a group of over 40 leaders, and getting that group to buy into a project and then also follow other leaders in the class was a great process to learn from and work with others to implement.
Definitely. Kevin, what about you? What was your project?
Well, we did a project with the Dayton Boys and Girls Club of Dayton, and they had an old room that they wanted to turn into a recording studio and a TV lounge for the students. This was a dilapidated room. It actually had 3 old pianos. We had to clean out the room. We painted the walls. We put in a drop ceiling. We actually put up a wall to separate the TV lounge and the studio. We got Value City to donate chairs, couches. They donated a TV. CareSource donated PCs and microphones and headphones. And we turned this space into a recording studio and a TV lounge for the students. We had an opening ceremony, and the board of Dayton Boys and Girls Club came, and we kind of handed over the keys, and it was a great learning experience for us in giving back to the community. And all 42 of our classmates participated over a 6-weekend period.
Yes. Now, in the time that I have been in the Dayton region, you know, having graduated high school here, left, came back, it seems like so many people I meet have gone through Leadership Dayton. And they talk about, you know, just what an amazing program it is. So Dennis, you've had over 1,000 people graduate from the program.
Right.
And these are people that are very well known in the community. You know, I have a list here. We've got Paula McElwain. She was the first woman elected to the Montgomery County the City Commission. So you've got a lot of people out there. After they graduate, how do you keep them engaged?
Well, I'm involved in the membership committee, and we have done at least a minimum of 4 major events every year, one of which is the annual meeting, which it's one of the most well-attended events that we have in downtown. And there are other events. We do a wine and art event, which we actually had last week. We have a commencement for the class that's completing the program. And we also have what we call a spring reconnect breakfast, too, which is also another popular program. There are also another slew of activities that we do throughout the year. In the last 2-3 years, we've also had groups volunteer at the Oktoberfest.
Oh, yes.
And helping with the registration at the gates and everything. And we've had a large turnout of volunteers, and that continues to be part of what we do to build the program and engage our graduates in staying connected with Leadership Dayton and with each other.
Absolutely. Building a lot of friendships. Susan, I know how proud you are of Leadership Dayton. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to you, and then maybe about some of the projects you have coming up?
Well, I've been involved with Leadership Dayton for a number of years, and what gives me the greatest pleasure is seeing the twinkle in everybody's eye when they talk about Leadership Dayton, because it's a personal experience. It's difficult to explain what experience you're going to have in Leadership Dayton, but then when somebody has gone through the program, they've been transformed. And it's a personal experience, it's professional, and it's a community experience. Dennis talked a little bit about some of the programs that we offer during the year, and we also have another program that was started by one of our classes, 2006, called the Spark Program. And it's non-political. It's just giving people an opportunity to hear what's going on in economic development in this community, and it's really giving a person the time to ask questions, learn a little bit more, and predominantly learn a different perspective. Because as leaders, we need to continually learn different perspectives so that we really fully understand what's going on in our community. So it gives me great pleasure to say that the Spark program is continuing with Leadership Dayton, and we're trying to find ways, the membership committee, to expand that program so that we can bring in more perspectives for people to understand the issues in our community.
Absolutely. It's just so exciting. Now, in any community, you have people that maybe participated in it, maybe they moved away, maybe they came back. Is there a way for them to get back involved with Leadership Dayton?
Absolutely. You can connect through our website, and we went through a strategic planning process last year, and we're really trying to grow our website so that any information that you need to know about Leadership Dayton is on the website, and current information, future information, class projects, getting connected with other people in other classes. We're really trying to make that the center of how to communicate with Leadership Dayton.
Definitely. It's that electronic age.
Absolutely.
We can all, come together on that. What is the website? Do you have the website?
www.leadershipdayton.org.
Okay, wonderful. Easy to remember.
Cathy, one point on how to stay connected. Each class has a representative, and that representative keeps the class together. And so the class will have individual evening events or lunches or breakfasts along the way, and so it's kind of that representative's way of keeping the class together. It's somewhat of a challenge because everybody kind of goes back to their career, but many of the classes, like 2009, 2011, 2010 have tried to stay together as a core group, and so it's but I will tell you that the 800 plus that are in the Dayton region, we went to the wine and art event last Thursday, and you get to meet folks from her class and Dennis's class, and you get to network, and that's what it's all about, is building good relationships and networking. So
Definitely, and keeping us in tune with the community to make it a better place. I mean, that is outstanding. Now, Dennis, tell us a little bit about some of the relationships that you made, some of the friendships that came out.
Well, I think one personally that really benefited me a great deal was I was looking at going back to school after completing the program, and the then dean of the business school at UD was a part of my class, and making that connection with him helped me make the choice of where I went, and he was very helpful in the process of getting to know other leaders in the business school itself, some of the professors and administrators in the MBA office that have really helped me in this time since that I've been through there. That's the most notable example that I would think of, but there are many others, that friendships and things where you see these people in the community and you have a personal connection that wouldn't have been there without Leadership Dayton.
Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, the thing that comes to my mind is, as I said, the networking ability. So you get to know each one of the people, and by the end of the opening retreat, you know 42 new friends. And I actually hated to leave that opening retreat because it was just so stimulating. But one of the things is that you get to know individuals and what their expertise is. And there's an example of where there was an individual in my class that was having some issues in his business. And so he knew that I had some background, and so he called upon me, and in a consultant role, I actually came and we talked about a number of different things. And so you learn what others' expertise is, and then you can help each other afterwards. So it's nice.
It is. Susan, what about you? Any relationships that stand out?
I have a number of relationships from people from my class of 1997. And we still see each other, we still support each other. It's very easy to pick up the phone and talk to them, or I run into them in the community on a very regular basis, especially UD basketball games. I feel that once you've been through Leadership Dayton, you're part of a special group, and you can contact anybody that you need to. So I've got a lot of friends. We create lifelong friendships, and we heard from someone from the original class of 1976 that they were still friends with many of the people in their class.
I'd love to hear that. It's just exciting. Now, the 2012-2013 class will graduate this June.
Correct.
So that's exciting that that's coming up. When do you solicit then for the 2013-14 class?
We're in that solicitation time period right now. We generally started in January of the year. We had an introduction breakfast last week, and we had 147 people that were interested in Leadership Dayton.
Unbelievable turnout.
It was incredible.
It was amazing.
Yes, at the Dayton Racquet Club. And we go through an application process. We close that process about April 5th of the year, we have a committee that goes through all of the applications, and as Kevin talked a little bit about, we have interview people who interview each candidate who applies for Leadership Dayton. And then that committee makes a decision based on the balance of the class, so that we have nonprofits, government, private, lawyers. We don't want all lawyers, all bankers. We want a balance of the class so that they can create the greatest synergy among themselves. And then we go through that in May, and then I take the list to the executive committee of the chamber in June.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
then the retreat starts in August.
Right. But it's not published until after the first retreat.
Okay.
And there's a purpose for that. So nobody knows really who's in their class until you go to the opening retreat. It's kind of an extra little excitement, I guess, and it is. I mean, you go to the opening retreat and you don't know who's going to be there, so there's a little apprehension, but it works out all well.
Now, as an individual, can I apply, but I still have to have a sponsoring organization?
You don't.
Okay.
If you are working in your own organization, your own company, you can apply. Typically, people come from an organization, and that organization pays for the tuition for Leadership Dayton. But it took me 3 years to look at the program to decide, is this something that I really wanted to do? Can I fit it into my calendar? And I did do that. And when you commit to Leadership Dayton, it's important that you commit to every day that we provide, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And if you miss that day, there isn't any way for you to make up for it.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
there's scholarships too. There's scholarships available.
We do have scholarships for some organizations, nonprofit organizations. It doesn't pay for the entire tuition, but it does help offset some of the expenses. And the other benefit is that we create a board match for our class, where they can volunteer to serve on a board, which gives them great board experience and leadership experience. And we have more than half of the class, almost all of the class really, that joins a board. And each of you joined boards
Correct.
while you were in the class, and it gave you another perspective on what's going on in our community.
Right. I think in the end, for me, the biggest value I got out of Leadership Dayton was a greater sense of ownership in this community's success. I mean, in my work in living this community, I've had it, but it really strengthened and solidified understanding opportunities to really be more involved and connected in the community. And that's, I think, in the end, what the program wants to do is cultivate that strength. You hear a lot of negative things about our region, and this is one of the positive things, and we'll highlight the positive things going on in the different areas of our community.
And can help keep the momentum going of getting that message out there
Right.
of the positive things. I can't thank all of you enough for appearing today. We really appreciate it. LeadershipDayton.org, is that correct?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Kathy.
And this concludes Business Connection. I'm Cathy Petersen. We really appreciate you watching today. And please stay tuned for a special message from Phil Parker, President and CEO of the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce.
Leadership Dayton is the region's premier community leadership program. Founded as one of the first such programs in the nation, this community issue-oriented training program is designed to enlighten current and future leaders in solving critical issues throughout our 9-county region. Graduating more than 1,200 motivated citizens over the last 36 years, almost 1,000 still live, work, and volunteer in a myriad of public, private, and not-for-profit organizations, all with the vision of making our region better, safer, and more successful. I'm proud to say that I've known many of these outstanding community servants in my years here in the area. These leaders not only give of themselves unselfishly as community volunteers, but have gone on to live highly productive and successful lives as corporate and government leaders, as well as committed, publicly elected officials. Community citizens are not only welcome to apply for the annual 10-month program that begins in August, but are encouraged to do so. The future of our region and the individual villages, townships, and cities within all rely on Great leadership and those motivated and enlightened individuals who take on the task of working together to solve our challenges. We welcome your participation in Leadership Dayton by contacting the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce at 226-1444 or by visiting our website at daytonchamber.org. Thank you for your interest in serving our communities.